is an excerpt from a 2000-word memoir piece. The full memoir is published in Glass Magazine. It's a good read.
Yay, that's great.
At the time of writing, I've tested into the top 1 percentile of persons diagnosed with OCD. After 2 years of sleeping on the floor of my parents' bedroom, I set upon spending nights in my room for the first time since we moved. I needed the proper routine to ensure a stranger wouldn't slip into my house while I slept, to slit my throat, or worse, slaughter my family and leave me alone. A fear I'd inherited from my mother. The plan was to lay flat on my back, with 2 pillows on either side of my temple, and another bridged over the top half of my head. A blanket pulled up under my nostrils, leaving only my nose exposed, as I was also terrified of suffocating to death in the night. This cocoon kept me hidden from any would-be intruders, alleviating me of just enough anxiety to pass out from sleep deprivation and merely dream about my family being murdered until morning. In 2018, I had my first experience with drugs. A friend of mine ordered a vial of THC online, and I was eager to prove myself cool. Accompanied by 2 mutual friends, we took to the beach, taking 2 drops respectively. 10 minutes in, feeling nothing, we decided on a walk down the beach. While walking, I pretended to be under the drug's effects, thinking this would raise my status in the eyes of my peers. 10 meters before arriving back at the car, my throat began to close, and liquid like hot wax dripped from the back of my brainstem down into my stomach. The pressure weighed on my chest and impending doom set in. I collapsed at the open door and was helped into the car, blacking out shortly after and entering psychosis. I saw shadowy beams in the corner of my eyes, felt them tearing against my shirt and ripping my flesh. They spoke to me in tongues as I passed in and out of consciousness, catching glimpses of the night like a film camera. I was told it took 7 hours before we were sober enough to be dragged back home and thrown onto a mattress, our bodies limp and clammy. Waking before the others, terrified in a damp puddle of my own stinking piss, I vowed never to do it again. It took 3 days for me to feel normal, and a week to take the drops for a second time. I moved into a small 2x3 meter room on the tail floor in South Bank with a close friend and 4 other students. 2 of my roommates would vape marijuana in the apartment. In fear of a second psychosis, I refused to breathe in shared spaces. To go to classes, I would hold my breath until I reached the floor elevator, near passing out several times. Refusing to use the kitchen altogether caused a significant loss in weight from 89 to 51 kilos, reducing me to nothing but skin and leading to the development of an eating disorder. I relied on my friend to keep me alive, letting him feed me my only meal of air-fried chicken nuggets when he noticed I hadn't eaten. It was my only human interaction, and I spent the rest of my days locked away in my cocoon, lying flat on my back, with 2 pillows on either side of my temple, and another bridged over the top half of my head. I would push a towel under the door each night and tape up the borders to create a proper seal. In bed, I shoved blankets in my mouth to protect me, laboriously breathing through the fibers. I would stay up at night, dry reaching into a bucket to purge myself of bad particles I may have collected throughout the day, eventually collapsing into my bed after 2 or more days of no sleep. I did not exist outside of this room. I barely existed in it. My family intervened and I was shipped home immediately, packing a small bag in the hope I would return. It was the last time I saw that 12th floor apartment. I never left the small curtained room in my childhood home, closing all the windows and returning to my cocoon from when I was younger. With the immediate danger of Brisbane gone, other symptoms arose, most significantly violent and grotesque intrusive thoughts. These thoughts could strike me at any moment, flashing images of grievous bodily harm to myself. Lying in bed, scenarios swam in my head, in which I would wake in a blind rage during the night and murder my family. I would secure myself each night to the bed with an electrical cord. Seeing no end to my mental turmoil, I started therapy. And after the first and second therapist bore no triumph, drugs, I went to a third, located in a school office building. Unfortunately for me, he was a COVID conspiracist and refused to get vaccinated, causing the termination of his practice. Arriving at another door, dejected at the thought of explaining myself to a fourth therapist, I studied the photo of his office in my hand, the one that I made him take. Stepping inside, I saw a tall, bearded man who smiled warmly at me, warm enough to stir the cocoon. At the time of finishing, I am living with OCD.